We're at Rapid City Central High School visiting with the Cobblers head wrestling coach Lance Pearson. And Lance, it's always good to visit with you, and just had the Rapid invite over the weekend.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for coming and talking to us. And we kind of finished up with, kind of a COVID 2020 version of the Rapid Invite, if you want to call it that. The first day, we kind of broke the teams into two different pods. The state has put a limit on the number of competitors we can have in a tournament at 112, which basically equals 8 full teams. And so for us to get those numbers, we basically put 11 teams in each pod and kind of ran an individual tournament. And then on Saturday, we had a bunch of those teams come back and we matched them up where everybody got 4 duels on Saturday. So, we just finished that up. And again, we're just really excited that we're back on the mats.
And Coach, how did the athletes do?
You know, for us, obviously we're led by our senior defending state champion, Cale Larson, and state runner-up, TJ Morrison. Both of those were in our lineup on Saturday for the duels. Cale won his individual bracket on Friday fairly easily. And TJ, he's coming back from an injury. So on top of those two guys, you know, Jackson Whitty is doing some really good things for us at 220. He placed third at the individual tournament. He's been bouncing between 220 and heavy. And those are kind of the seniors that we have on the team. The rest of the squad that wrestled this weekend, all sophomores and younger. And so down low, we had some good showing by our 3 lightweights. They all 3 placed in the individual tournament. Had a little rougher day on the dual side of it, but part of that is just them figuring out this whole varsity thing and how I can't let one match kind of carry over into the next. A lot like, you know, you hear defensive backs in football needing a short-term memory. So do these guys need to learn that when we're in a day full of dual competitions. On top of that, we had our first girl athlete that competed again for this weekend. This is her second weekend. She went 2-1 on the weekend, and for her being a first-year wrestler, Cassandra Whitty, Jackson's sister, she's doing very well. We're hoping to get about 3 more on the mat this coming weekend. They just weren't quite as confident as Cassandra was of making that jump onto the competitive mat yet.
Coach, last year you took 10 to the state tournament and 6 placed. And of course you had Cale Larson, a state champion. Do the athletes have their eyes on that state tournament already?
You know, obviously at the beginning of the year, I think all the athletes, that's kind of what they're gauging or what they're shooting for. With our start of the year, you know, we were on level 3. We couldn't do any activities when the season started. So that really threw our guys for a little bit of a hiccup, I'll be honest. For them, I don't know if we've had a normal week of practice yet. You know, 2 weeks ago we were jumping in and it's week 3 for everybody else. And for us, it's our first week and we're going to a tournament. And so you're just kind of running around a little crazy. And then last week, of course, we had the Rapid Invite, but it wasn't the Rapid Invite. You know, it was a little different. So this week we finally kind of settle into what might be a little bit normal. Our goal, just like every year, we want to be one of the top 6 teams on the podium at the end of the year. And if we can qualify for the dual tournament, we'd love to do that. This year, you know, like I said earlier, we're led by some veterans. We bring back 3 state place winners. Landon Winter will be back in our lineup this week. He's a junior. But we got a lot of inexperienced in our lineup too. And they're going to grow throughout the season. I always tell my coaches, sometimes these are the most exciting teams that I love coaching because you start off so green at the beginning that they don't even know what they don't know yet. And by the end of the year, you've just seen this huge improvement from top to bottom of your lineup, and you're really making some teams work that maybe didn't think they were going to have to work that hard against your kids. And that's a huge accomplishment for those kids and a huge accomplishment for the team as a whole.
Tell us more about the event this weekend.
This weekend, I'll be honest, because of COVID, we take everything day by day, week by week. And this weekend, we wrestle 4 days over a 5-day span. And we start things off, we head to Harrisburg on Friday night. We've got 3 duels there. Then we're going to head to Brookings, stay the night that night, and wrestle in Brookings Invite, which is an 8-team tournament on Saturday. So the kids, most of them right there, should get between 5 and 7 matches over those 2 days. We'll come home late Saturday night, and then we'll be back on the bus Monday morning. We picked up a couple duels with Sioux Falls, O'Gorman, and West Central. And we did that because I'd already locked in 4 duels in Canton on Tuesday. So over that stretch, I know it's a lot of wrestling, it's a lot of bus riding, but with COVID, you just never know when something's going to get taken away and when a kid might not be able to wrestle. So we really tried to load it up here, and obviously with the moratorium kicking in on Wednesday, we figured it was a great time to have those kids wrestle as many matches as we can.
The Cobblers don't back down to any opportunity to compete, do they?
No, there's people that maybe say that's been to our detriment. Last year we had close to 30 duels on our schedule, and maybe 1 or 2 too many that kept us out of the dual tournament. But I look at it a little bit differently. I look at it as the more chances we can get on the mat, the more improvement we can gain every time we come off. And so for us and our guys, when kids come up from our middle school into our program, they see that right away, and they realize I better be ready to wrestle a lot of matches in a lot of days, because that's just what we do. And I'll be honest, I think for the most part, it helps our team and helps our kids when it comes time for that 3-day state tournament.
All right, thanks, Lance. Cobbler wrestling coach Lance Pearson talking some wrestling here on Black Hills TV.
Well, I appreciate it again, and everything we can do to promote the sport of wrestling. Again, we've got our girls program off and running, so we're excited about that, and we're excited to get out on the mats again this year.